I got trouble. One of my crew got himself perished.
Yeah, and who might that be?
Tintin. Somebody stuck his blades in all his major organs in alphabetical order.
Well, gentlemen, by all means, I think we ought to have an introspective moment of silence for poor old Tintin. You're working for me tomorrow night, right?
Whatever you say, I can do.
Good. That's very reassuring.
Yeah.
I still ain't heard these.
So it's all mannequins in the ICU rooms. You guys see this?
Fuck me, yeah.
Yeah, I
I mean,
didn't
got
see
them
that.
hooked up to the respirators, too.
But this makes sense.
This is exactly what
Yeah.
they want us to
I
think.
fucking knew it.
Yeah.
You knew it.
So I don't know. I guess he didn't get a chance to. I put it in the chat, Chris. The CBC Edmonton they did a fucking story. I heard about this on Canada Land. They did a story where they're like, let's go inside a busy ICU, but like they didn't put up front that it's not an actual busy ICU because you can't show people's faces and shit.
Well,
Yeah.
also, they're not going to let you into an ICU with a bunch of people that have COVID. Fucking stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fucking- yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
ridiculous. So they used a staging room that they were showing like equipment and how to hook up ventilators with a dummy, which is
Yeah.
how you fucking train people
Yeah.
in healthcare. I'm not a scientist or anything, but that's how you do it.
Yeah, but okay, so this goes out and they do a bad job of putting forward that this is, a dramatization, and then they show other footage later. And then of course right-wing media fuckheads jump right on this. But then also
I don't even count that as right-wing media, because like right-wing media is still like normal.
right.
Like Doug Ford's a 500-pound gorilla, man. He's going to tell you to get your vaccine. Don't be a stupid idiot.
Okay, well that's fair. So let's
Yeah.
say, disinformation fuckheads.
Luddite right-wing media.
Yeah. Just people as
come
bad
on.
actors, bad faith actors, people who either willfully or ignorantly, out of like a profound ignorance, take shit out of context. And the worst thing is that this footage, apparently from the Edmonton CBC, ended up being used, like bits of it used later in other CBC stuff.
Oh
And-
no.
Yeah, exactly, right? So it just plays right into the whole like manufactured emergency narrative of these these fucks. And you're shaking your head like it's an unforced error. No one forced that. Like whoever fucking did that, you're the dumbest fuck. You have no
Yeah.
idea how to do anything about news. And
Well, then they were backpedaling and apologizing, but like, I mean, the ship sailed, like.
yeah,
But I
it's
mean,
all
like,
done.
realistically, you could just film a live guy outside of the fucking hospital. You don't need to, you know what I mean? Like, and on what planet would you ever get a live view of the inside of an ICU with people dying on
Yeah.
respirators? Are you fucked? You're never going to see
And-
that. You can't go see that.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's not a tour. It's not a spectator thing. The other thing is like even if you do believe that, do you really think your opponent's that dumb? Like this like nefarious conspiracy that they're just like, oh, letting the cat out of the bag. Let's just put it on
Yeah.
camera. They won't notice.
Yeah, and like, I'm sorry, but like, you have to. It all just comes down to the fact that you have to believe that not only is there a conspiracy, but every dumb shit on every single level of everything is involved. Every
Yeah.
secretary, every nurse, every fucking boom mic operator, they're all fucking in on it. Like,
Yeah.
what? Man, what? You got to go down that path to really make this be a conspiracy, right? So, like, if
Yeah.
you think that, man, you're fucked.
That's true. That's the least
Stupid idiot.
believable thing about conspiracy is that the idea that large organizations are competent. I don't believe
Yeah,
that
like,
for
it's
a
not
second.
like
Yeah, no, that's exactly it.
if for some bizarre reason Fauci controlled every single news media outlet on the entire globe and also had his little dollar bills in the pockets of every single like random GP across the entire fucking nation. Well, okay, well maybe there'd be some weird possibility for a conspiracy, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. Yeah.
No, you have to and Knowledge Fight goes into this quite a bit. The podcast Chris and I listen to, like, it's, you have to believe you're actually fighting the devil. Like a proper, only the proper devil could do a thing like that. But I think, One thing that my family member connection to conspiracy theory, he's always good for something creative, and there is an argument that or a perspective that this is possible through a process of compartmentalization on like need to know top secret shit, because they pose the idea like, how do you build a top secret jet without like a billion people knowing? Or how do you have the Manhattan Project without everybody knowing? Well, I guess the truth is that the large number of people knew about the Manhattan Project, but
the truth is that it was 1940 and you didn't have any way to spread information.
Yeah, well, there's newspapers, there's radio. It's a big deal. I mean, it's a really big deal. That's a big conspiracy.
It's easier to hide though then.
Yeah, you would imagine so, and it actually wasn't hidden very well. I mean, like history shows that. But anyway, that's the argument. Like there's some people know this and some people know that, and other people don't know anything, but they're, and that's when the sociological analysis comes in, because they're part of a, the conspiracy is not that like everybody's controlling everything meticulously. The conspiracy is that at the center, they replace the figure of capital with the figure of Jew. And so it's not something that accidentally emerged. It's something that was set in motion. And some people are just ignorant of the origins of the unmoved mover in all of this. And that's how the conspiracy perpetuates itself. And like that's dumb. Like why don't you just go whole hog with the sociological analysis rather than like pretending the actual devil is involved? But I don't know. To each his own, I guess. Yeah. Well, it's fucking dumb. We can say that.
It is, yeah, and it's just too much. Yeah. It's too much. It's the World War II references. Did you like, speaking of did you like the Jesus one?
Yeah. Oh, that was great. Yeah.
It was for people that obviously aren't going to see this, and we're not going to give a shit about this any further, really. But it was just an image of Christ being nailed to the cross, some like crude fucking painting that somebody did at some point or another over the years of great biblical treasures, and they put little comic speech bubbles on them. I'm just doing my job. I got a family to take care of, and very clever. And they've got a new thing where they're like referring to us as like normal people as like stupid, like a band of like stupid enablers, like we're like frontline Nazis, we're personally persecuting Jews by getting vaccinated and by participating in this.
Yeah, it's really to call it interesting is really sort of insulting to I don't know, the people who like the memory of the Holocaust. Like it's weird. It's
I know it's funny that such a horrific angle is from the wokest fucking moment in history. That people aren't cranking down on this harder. Like that's outrageous. Fucking outrageous and unreasonable. But like fucking the other day a hockey player called a guy a midget in a press conference because he gave him a dirty hit. That's right. That's a derogatory fucking term, and we are too woke to use those kind of grotesque words.
Right. I guess the difference is that that person's famous, and then other people are just on the fucking internet, right?
Or I guess this is maybe that, like, I don't know what the heck it is, but maybe they're too white, I guess, to get stood up against. I don't know.
Right. I don't know. I think it's just the internet. It sucks up. Like unless you're really. Like it's still a low key thing. Like it feels like it's constantly present, but again, it's like 5% of the population, and they're just fucking grumbling. It's just the usual bullshit grumbling. The internet has long harbored fucking 4chan, Reddit. That stuff is always just gonna be there, and some people give a shit about it, and other people don't. But
Reddit's a great place for like solving computer problems, though.
Oh yeah, Reddit can be fantastic.
Reddit's lit. Depends if you go in the right threads, though.
Yeah, sorry, you're right. So sorry, everybody. Reddit's not the same.
Man. Why are you
4chan,
gonna come down
think.
on Reddit like that?
I was just thinking about the
Jesus
Donald.
Christ.
I was thinking about the Donald.
Yeah.
Donald. Yeah.
Eventually
Donald's
got
gonna
banned,
make a
but yeah.
Donald's gonna make a hot comeback. Anyway, it's gonna be fucking wicked.
Oh, he's already the president, so I mean, it's
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's all set in
yeah.
motion.
That's
Yeah.
making me nauseated.
Yeah.
That's weird. Forgot about
So,
that. Yeah, I read that the other day too.
So yeah. So I got a question for you guys. Which one of you Motor City motherfuckers wants to talk about Johnny the Homicidal Maniac?
That's
I'm all
nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. Hi everybody. Extinction Agenda with Chris and James. We're talking about it's Halloween, so we're being as goth as
Ooh.
we're super dark.
It's an episode of Dark Delights, you might say.
Yeah.
Spooky as fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, they're it's funny. Neither of these things are scary, but they're certainly dark. We're also going to be talking about The Crow later tonight, right now, but yeah, we thought a little start ourselves off with another goth. Like I think both of these are goth icons. Is that fair to say? I think
That's a controversial take.
Yeah, you're throwing around the word goth pretty loosely here too.
There's just honestly, there's an unspoken rule. Like there are two things you don't do. You don't admit that you like Nine Inch Nails. You don't admit that you're influenced by The Crow in the late 90s. Even though both things are fantastic, it's just like if you know, you know. You don't talk about these things.
Right. Okay. So
mum's the word.
Yeah.
So remember when and I don't know where we got this from or where I got this from, but I remember someone told me, someone who works at the Silver Snail, they there was a bunch of this comic shop Silver Snail that used to still around. And anyway, basically a bunch of goth chicks came into the store, and this is early 2000s, and
it's a true story.
It's the truth. Yeah. And then did you tell me the story?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, all right. So the basically the cashier was the two of the clerks were talking together. One was like, Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, and they were like, mm-hmm. And so he came over and he talked to them, and this was probably apocryphal, but he was like, you're looking for Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, and they were like, yes. Yeah. So I think it was just kind of I think it became something that you did. I mean, I don't know how else we would have gravitated.
Oh, definitely. I found out about it on Gothic Usenet forums back in high school, and then I was like, this sounds fantastic. Went to the local comic book store, and it came out. I think it was on its second issue then. Came out once every 3 months, and it was like something you found in a bus shelter, just scrawled on some insanity. It just has this manifesto quality to it, especially it being released so slowly is very intriguing. And
I remember. This was a blast when we were kids. I
don't remember picking it up until after it was collected. But I do remember getting probably balls deeper into slave labor graphics than I should have.
Yes,
and more than you guys do. I'm wrong.
Oh no, that's true. I know.
I got some fucking Squee.
Squee's great.
I got some Lenore.
Yeah, Lenore's okay-ish.
Yeah, I got all that stuff. I had
spinoff.
Yeah, I had the Devi spinoff.
Yeah.
I had those babies, and I think I had a squishy of that little skeleton critter.
Oh, awesome.
Ooh,
yeah.
That's a shame if you don't have that anymore.
I don't know. I don't know why I don't have it anymore, but yeah.
Yeah, that's August 1995 to January 1997, apparently 7 issues. Do you still have those issues, Chris?
Yeah, I do.
Ah, fuck,
prized
man.
possessions.
Man, because I went.
That's hot fire.
You can buy them in the States. You can find them. It's fine. They're $5 a pop. They're not actually as expensive as you would imagine, but shipping will fuck you. So I put off on it because I was like, do I really want to own these? And I think I like the idea of having the issues of these because James and I are reading the collected edition, and all the meanwhiles are missing, and my favorite skit of all isn't there.
You know what I don't care for?
Yeah. Say that again, James.
Do not care for Happy Noodle Boy.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. I didn't care for it either.
I found
that
it.
fucking-
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it as much. Now
It's fucking stupid. And
Yeah.
it like, I get that there's like a little, like, sort of a background thing there where he's like sort of just like a raging version of himself that's getting bullied, sort of. And I don't know. There's a
Yeah.
lot of things he's trying to communicate here. Mostly just seems to be like what would happen if you basically gain devilish superpowers after being like picked on for being a fucking goth, I guess. But you're not really a goth, but I guess you're just maybe just a skinny nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely the genesis of it. But yeah, you're right. Like, the superpower part is like sort of Cthulhu-esque. Like, he's, on the one hand, like, I don't think this series makes any sense whatsoever at first. It's just kind of a funny conceit. It's
Right.
it's like a weird sitcom, and then you can sort of see. Is it Jonan Vasquez?
that's how I say
Jonan?
it. I say
Jonan?
Jonan.
Okay.
Jonan.
Okay.
Or Jonan. I say Jonan. I don't know.
Jonan.
Actually,
Okay.
we should have found this out.
Yeah. Maybe I looked at him. I was like, that's what he looks like. Anyway, it feels like Vasquez is. I took care of that problem. I'll just call him Vasquez. He's making it up as he goes along, and that's fair, fine. Like, this is like, fuck, I don't know how old he is. When he's making this, he's 20. He's 18 to 20, I think. No, I don't know if the math's right on that. Anyway, he's young, and he's just kind of fucking around.
Yeah, and I see what you mean. In the beginning, it's like a splatter work. Like, it's a shock thing. It's a murderer next door.
Mhm.
It's and it's just sort of like getting people's attention. His art is very good.
Yeah,
It's-
fantastic.
It's cohesive and bizarre. He's trying to say a lot, but I don't know what I do like some of the things he's communicating just about how society's functioning, in just a crude way. How parents feel like in the background, things like that, where like he like in a very depressing way is touching home, for a lot of subjects. And it's not like it's not true to form. It's just the most exaggerated negative feeling you can have about any topic, really.
Yes, because you start with Squee, right? And like, it's literally his parents, his dad's like, I haven't smiled since I had you, go away. Like, and like, there's literally a murder
I'm
breaking
working
into the house.
to make sure I can feed you.
Yeah. And then it's like, literally, Johnny's in his house. Where the fuck's the vaccine?
I think for me, this series is funnier to talk about than to read. Like, I find it's too dense. The timing is, I think by issue 4 or something like that, like it gets a little less dense, and
Yeah.
Vasquez seems to get a better sense of timing. Or maybe the point when, what's her name, Debbie, when she beats the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Great scene.
That's amazing, and that's like exactly what the series needed. It was just like, because the violence, it's over the top violence, and it's funny that it draws the line at violence and rape of women. Even later on when Johnny is presented with his like fans, like one of his fans, I think I'm remembering that the fan was like, I raped this chick, and he's like,
Yeah.
I would never do that. Like, I'll do all these other things, but I'm not about violence against women.
Yeah,
I'll
he
kill
actually
them.
draws that line a couple times
Yeah.
over the course of the story.
Yeah. And that's, and then having her beat the shit out of Johnny, kind of cements that as like where the line is on this. And I think, like, that's maybe why it's more accessible, because it's not misogynist. It's just like, imagine every time that you just wanted to rip someone's eyeballs out for being a fucking piece of shit. Johnny's there for you. Johnny's done it. Like, that's how he feels. He's like this imp that just acts out our deepest violent fantasies.
It's kind of an expression in depression too, a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
Mhm.
Yeah, because that's like the elements of Nee's hell, right? Like he lives in this house and you don't know where it came from, and it's like it was there. It had all these levels before he got there, and these torture devices, and he has to paint the walls with blood. But then he's also constantly talked to by these two styrofoam like Psycho Doughboy and Mr. Fuck.
Mr.
And
Fuck, yeah.
like one of them's manic, and one of them is just constantly like trying to get him to kill himself because like something's gone wrong with you, man. Like you got issues, and like you're just becoming one of these people who are a waste of space.
Yeah, but he, and I don't know if this means anything, but like on the one hand, he won't kill himself, and on the other hand, when there's the shooting accident when he tries to call Devi, and it's weird to think of it as a shooting accident because he was preparing to murder himself, but and then he comes back to life, and like I don't think there's a meaning to that other than to, I don't know, I guess he doesn't deserve like some sort of a sad ending. I guess it doesn't deserve to be like some sort of moral lesson, although I guess he kind of is. I don't know. I just don't know what to make of it.
I think there's a little bit of tragedy in it, in that like you have that idea. So like after he dies, and I love the issue when he goes to heaven and like sees the whole like the whole afterlife, and that's fantastic. But he's told that he's a waste lock, and like this is just this concept that like all the shitty parts of creation just get poured into these poor people, and like usually they're just some introverted weirdo who just like collapses in on themselves and like doesn't harm anybody. But in his case, like somebody either like fucked up or played a sick joke, and it just made him like way over, like whatever instability he had just went berserk. And so that's
Right.
because that's what the devil tells him, like
You're right.
I'm a flusher, like yes, shit, exactly. And so then he gets to come back, and then that's what like that kind of takes a turn. Like it allows him to become a little more sympathetic and accessible.
Yeah, but and I think that that's I don't know what Vasquez was up to, but you can only tell this, you can only tell like the murder fantasy for so long before it starts to become like I always think of some lyrics from Belle and Sebastian. If you go on for much very longer, you'll be known as the boy who's always dancing. And yeah, I think that's what would have happened. Vasquez at a certain point realized, like, I'm just the guy who's always dancing. I'm I'm the murder guy. I'm the murder crazy noodle guy, and go on. Sorry.
I think he knows it from the start, and I think that there are seeds. Like at the end of the first issue, you get the idea that he's gone wrong, and he knows that he shouldn't be this way. And his murders become more and more petty, like through issues 2 and 3. Like he's like, stop trying to bring bell bottoms back, for example. He's when he goes on a rampage in issue 3. So it's and there are these little meta moments. Even in the first issue, there's the guy coming by with a survey and our area of the city has seen a massive increase in brutal mutilations. And the guy's like asking what he thinks about violence in media.
That was a good run through.
Yeah, I love that one. And he's just like, movies and TV, they're just for entertainment. They're not guidebooks for damning yourself. So all along there are these little nods to like, I know what's up.
Yeah. No, I don't think. No, that's fair. I hopefully I also recognize that he's very self-aware. I mean, like that's probably another thing that makes this acceptable to the extent that it's acceptable. I don't know who I would hand this book to.
Honestly, you know what I think is his like core message about how gross humanity is and how annoying it is and how funny it is to hate that in the back of your mind and process it in a dark way is better served with Invader Zim.
Ooh. That's interesting.
I think it's basically an evolved version of this.
I think you're right.
This is crude. It's angry. It's depressing. And it's great. It's a magic work. It's kind of off on its own in the fringes, but I just think that a more palatable version of what he wants to say is kind of Invader Zim. I don't think Invader Zim was done right either. Like I don't think the platform was a kids show. but it's definitely like I think closer to the mark for maybe what he was trying to do. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
No,
I feel about it, but
I read an interview with him, and he was saying about Invader Zim, like, the studio would come and say, like, okay, kids are having nightmares from your show, and he's like, that's great. Like that was what he was going for.
That's fantastic.
It's kind of a fundamental, like, the Vasquez situation is that, like, a kid burdened with a horrible secret, and that really, like, Dib in Vader Zim is a friendlier version of that, but, like, he's kind of Squee in a way.
Yeah, that's what I think of. And Squee bookends Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, and it's kind of, again, I'm not sure what that means either, but there is that sense that I guess this goes to James, like, this is embryonic of everything that you'd see in Invader Zim, and I honestly, as far as kids programs go, like, I can't. That's a perfect children's program. It's so weird. It's like it's better than Teletubbies. Fucking put the kid in front of that. They're gonna get some weird ideas.
Maddie loves it.
Yeah, I bet.
In fact, I say it's. Oh, go ahead, James.
Go on. No. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's very influential in that sphere. I would say that Teen Titans Go and, like, many other shows have been influenced by the energy of it.
I think so, and I think we maybe mentioned this, and it's one of the reasons we thought that we would talk about Johnny the Homicidal Maniac is because of its subterranean, deep influence on where, not comics, but where cartoons went, children's cartoons, strangely enough. Because like I'd see a straight line between Teen Titans Go and Invader Zim. It's not as dark, obviously, and it's a little more poppy. But its willingness to juxtapose in, like, just fucking bizarre things and have and imply certain inappropriate adult circumstances to a children's program. You're like, I can't put my finger on what I'm talking about with Teen Titans Go, but I feel that I'm right about that. Like,
no, they're definitely, especially early on, it's a little darker, a little more grotesque.
Mm-hmm.
And is anyone aware of the? I'm trying to look it up. I'm just having a hard time. I'm interested in what this sold. Like, what was the saturation of this book?
Oh,
it's sold out. Like, it's okay. I think the number in my head, it's like 50. We're talking about Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. I think it's sold out like 56,000, something like that. Which
that's
is not
that's really low.
Yeah. Which is why I think it's funny that, like, Sudbury, Ontario, we were getting issues, and like, comics don't sell huge, like, it's not always going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but you'll all you got to do is sell like 2 or 3 issues in each comic shop, in each of the 500 comic shops or 1,000 comic shops that previously existed at that time, and you had yourself a small hit. I think that's the numbers that we were looking about. I'm happy to be wrong about that, though.
Yeah. I'm not. It's not. Whatever. My search is not going well. But anyway, I do have a couple of the Invader Zim trade paperbacks, which are quite fun. Even though I don't know that Johan has a lot to do with them anymore.
I think he did the final issue or something like that, but not a whole lot.
I'd like to see that.
Me too.
Yeah. What I was going to say about Invader Zim and why I think I actually value it. Like, for me, it's just like, it's the perfect antidote for children's programming, and it's like Hansel and Gretel. It's that dark shit you want to give kids. Because I was with little Matthew, I've been reading Kazuo Umezu. The Drifting Classroom guy.
Oh shit, yeah.
But we've been just looking at some of his other works. But I'm probably going to move on to Drifting Classroom, and it's just, he's in rapt attention to, like, these horrible things that he's looking at, and as long as it's presented artfully, like, as quality, and that's quality animation. Like, that cartoon's fucking dope. Invader Zim, and
the movie's a lot of fun. The movie, the new movie on Netflix is actually a run through of the first trade paperback of the newer comic series, and that's actually written by him.
Oh, okay.
Double checked it. Yeah.
I was wondering about that. I didn't think he'd be doing the drawing anymore because he's like
Yeah,
Laird,
he doesn't do
Eastman.
the art, but
Yeah.
he's and I don't know if he writes all of them, but he definitely writes a lot of them, I guess. So more than I thought, like entire trades and stuff. So
Right. I think also in Invader Zim the I don't know, like they do action is conveyed really well, and I'm not sure if that's necessarily, no, that's in Johnny as well, but not timing, which I think I already said, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something about I mean, I guess just motion being added. Like there's something about the fluidity of like the way things move in Invader Zim that's kind of slithery and creepy and like I don't know,
Yeah.
like elongated.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
definitely present in his style.
Yeah, you see those aliens from Invader Zim in the form of the devil.
Yes.
Like they look exactly like those aliens, you know.
Yeah. And there's aliens there, at least in one aside. Like yeah, all the, like you're saying, all like there's an embryonic form like all present here.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Oh, we got to talk about your favorite sketch before we move on, though.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's just like Okay, go ahead.
Oh no, James, did you read the meanwhile with that guy at the restaurant?
no, I didn't.
Oh no.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's totally classic. It's just like a guy at a restaurant on a date with DV, and he's just like his stomach starts acting up, and he's like just has to shit, and he's got diarrhea, and then just it's like his inner torment at being at this date where he's like really
Hey,
vibing
wait a
with this
sec.
girl.
I've read this. This is a favorite, but
Okay,
I think it's because I had a couple Apache issues
Oh well, there we go.
when I was younger. Diarrhea, it's coming back to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, just my favorite fucking punchline of all time. You know, he's like trying to come up with excuses for why he has shit in his pants, and because he and he just fucking the timing's perfect. You know, it's just like he just stands up, and this is Invader Zim, like that stand up and just yell to the sky something absurd.
Yeah.
Someone put shit in my pants, and then run off. Yeah.
The best is that there's a lot of callbacks to that guy. Like when he's in heaven, he's like sitting in the chair, like when Johnny gets the head exploding, and he's like, you know, he's interrupting their bliss. But they're talking about like all the freedom that they're free from, you know, like anger or whatever. And then there's a little arrow pointing to him, freedom from shitting your pants.
I'm gonna put this out here for any fans listening to the podcast right now. If one was to Google the words Johnny the Homicidal Maniac diarrhea skit, the first 3 images that appear on Google are the full skit.
Amazing.
So 1, 2, 3, just swipe right, and somebody put shit in my pants.
So like every time I look at it, it just cracks me up. The other one, I don't know if you guys saw that, but the other one that just like really tickled my fancy is the vampire one, where that like goth guy is like, you're like, oh, I wish life was like my novels, and the vampire comes to his window, but he makes him basically into this Nosferatu vampire with these giant tusks.
I didn't reread that one.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
like they're just like his kids in high school. They're sitting in class, and these kids are like, he smells like cabbage. And the other guy's like, oh, like when I fell on the pole in gym, my nutsack looked like his head. And then he goes to feed, and he's just like, it's a tusk, like literally through this guy's skull, like down to his chin. I feed. So good.
All right. So I don't know, where do we land on Johnny the Homicidal Maniac?
I'll start this one off. I'm gonna say it's like a sort of an odd 6 out of 10. I don't hold it in super high regard, and I don't think that it's a super like high point of revisiting for me or any kind of literary masterpiece either. And it's also a difficult recommendation. It's a certain type of black humor, and even I find the humor is a little dated, some of it. So but it is kind of it's a sort of a spot in time, and it's an oddity. It's a nice work of art, like, but it's not high comics. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Chris?
Yeah, I see everything you're saying, and I see where you're coming from. I'd still got to give this like a 9 out of 10 ice suckies.
Okay.
It's
All
like
right.
the best thing in Vasquez's universe. And I don't know, just
I would say it's the best thing in slave labor's universe.
definitely. There's just like you can't get any. There's no other medium where you can get something like this, even though it's a raw work of art. It's just like it's so unique to him and so influential. And I don't know, yeah, like the good is good, and I think the way we're reading it, like trying to cram it in to do this, spoils some of the fun of it, because they're really meant to be, like picked apart over a long stretch of time, and you can't, it does become a bit of a slog when you're trying to deal with all that text.
Yeah, and that's why
I agree with that.
and
he was trying to give a lot of value. He knew his release date would be slow. He knew his art would be slow. So he was trying to give, whoever his small fan base was like the meat, in his issues. So that's fair too.
Yeah. And it is a lot more. It is. I think Chris, you called it like graffiti, like graffiti-esque, and it does have that. Like the pages are very full, for the most part. I think I got to go more with James as well. I didn't really enjoy myself reading this. I enjoyed it as like an historian enjoys a primary text. I was like, oh, interesting, And there's a nice little, there's some little bits that are actually funny, and I got some dog-eared pages, but even for the sake of conversation, I was like, I don't know what, other than its influence and other than its embryonic form, and it's definitely raw power and ability of someone who's just like really expressing themselves. And that sounds like I'm really degrading art in general, like as something where someone expresses themselves. I was like, but yeah, I'm probably never going to read it again. And like it was when I was 21 or whatever, I was like, yeah, like this makes a lot of sense. It matches my feelings and stuff like that. But yeah, I just don't really feel like this anymore. The catharsis that it's meant to provide, just, I'm not the audience for it any longer. So anyway,
that's fair. I might not be objective about it. I'll totally admit that. So it's just like, yeah, such a part of my formative years that
that's true.
I couldn't acknowledge flaw in it if I tried, I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Like I do have a lot of nostalgia for this. I do own it. I'm never going to get rid of it. I just don't know if it'll ever come off the shelf again. Except in maybe one day when I'm really high or something like that. Perfect.
We'll do let's do a recap when we're 70.
Yeah, we'll
come
on
that. About it then.
Yeah. And in the meanwhile,
I got pages falling out of mine and everything, and the corners ripped off. It's a real fucking beater.
Oh,
it's
I had to get mine used. Oh, I didn't have to. I'm sure I could have got a new one, but
well, this is I think the original one that I bought in fucking 2000 or so.
Oh wow, following you around.
I sent you guys a nice little thing that I found on Etsy into the X-tinction chat. It's a Johnny the Homicidal Maniac thing.
Oh,
the schmo. Perfect.
Oh, perfect. I did know. I noticed that. So yeah, let's fire it up. I
stole this look from Kiss. Boo.
Nice.
That's classy. I think maybe that might be our image for the episode. There we go. So I guess on that front, we'll move over to The Crow. Directed 1994. We're doing The Crow movie. Although I did peruse the comic book because James, you were so lovely as to give it to me for my birthday one year.
Oh yeah. Because I think for your birthday a few years in a row, I got you like stuff that was on your wish list.
Right.
And then I just decided the one year to just send you something you didn't want.
Well, you were wrong about that. You were wrong about that. I want this book. Like, I'm glad. Like, this is a, like, again, getting back to why this is a good mix with Johnny the Homicidal Maniac is because, like, this comic is so fucking raw, and it comes from like that. And there's some, I don't know, it's not high art. I mean, like, obviously Johnny's much better, but I don't know. It's just rough. It's raw. It comes from like a fucking ridiculous place. Yeah. So,
Arguably this is much better and probably sold like a gajillion times more.
what, the Crow? Like the comic?
Yeah.
I might actually be wrong about those numbers. Maybe I'm confusing the numbers for the Crow from Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. One of the two sold out. I just don't remember. They're like,
I think the probably more likely the Crow. I think the Crow is a pretty big hit, wasn't it?
yeah. I don't think so. It came out of Caliber. It got like released. Oh, so it's Caliber Comics, 1989 to 1990, and then it gets collected finally in 1993 by Kitchen Sink Press. And actually, which is a weird press. Like they're a hippie, crumb, underground comics kind of publisher. But in the 90s, they did Black Hole and they did From Hell.
Oh shit, that's some good stuff.
But we
Yeah,
were
yeah.
like 10 years old when this was released too, so it's it's hard to even, we didn't get a good gauge on it.
I can't say I've ever read these comics until you gave them to me. Like I've like I only ever knew the movie, which again, we're 14 when this thing comes out, but
it's very true to the comic. I mean, if anything, the movie's a fucking warm handshake for that comic book.
yeah, it is. I think it's much better than the comic. Like the comic's a fun little kind of art object from a teenager, like a time capsule of whatever that fucking kid was going through, or assuming they're a teenager or like early 20s. But I think this movie's fucking good. Not to put my cards at the table too.
No, it's a full cult.
It's a classic.
Like,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like it's a great movie.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I never think about Alex Proyas. I'd never ever thought to myself, who directed The Crow? He's also the director of Dark City, apparently, and that makes a fucking super sense.
Yeah.
Well, that movie sucked.
I had the same experience, just connecting the dots of his career and being like, the Crow's good.
Yeah. I think maybe, I hate to be fucking one of those filmy people for a moment, but I think the cinematographer had something to do with that. I think the shots in this movie really make this movie. And even some of the editing and stuff like that.
And I think you needed that because the budget was shite.
Yeah.
True. But it's beauty. Yeah, it is like really well. It's a good movie. It's got a good script. Like it's all around very solid.
Yeah. And it's funny hearing us say that. I'm just like, well, now what do we need to talk about?
There's lots.
We fucking
But okay, hold on. Let's talk about
Yeah.
James LeBar for a second. Like you said, when you said it came out of a ridiculous place, are you referring to like his? You're probably not referring out his personal tragedy, right? Like,
you're right. He did have a personal tragedy. That's fair. Like the what was it? The girlfriend that was killed by a car accident? Yeah. Sorry. What I was flipping through the book and I saw the Crow cut two people's legs off, and and so that's why I said ridiculous place. Like I'm looking at these, honestly, you got to be flipping through this fucking comic. Like some of these scenes, so you're just like, what the fuck?
You're
and then
me on it.
Yeah, and then I sent you that thing where he's like, I am fetal disruption, and you're just like, what the fuck are you talking about? This book doesn't make it doesn't make any fucking sense half the time. The things that the Crow says are just fucking stupid. It just has all the earnestness of like someone who's 16 and never stopped being 16. And yeah.
No, random thought, no connection, I'm sure. But I believe he was like a Marine too, right? James LeBar.
Oh, I don't know that. I have no idea. I didn't read.
I think he has a military background.
Interesting. Okay, that's fucking. Oh.
I better check that out now. 'Cause I usually assume that you'll know the things.
Yeah,
that,
you'll know about the things. Yeah, no, sorry.
To stop me
Not
from
this
being
time.
stupid.
Yeah.
I think the movie, definitely the movie had, well, I mean, like, basically it just had a couple of bad screenplay writers also. I don't know if you know this, but one of the screenplay writers wrote Critters 3.
Oh, yeah, no,
Shit.
Yeah, no, I looked at that guy's. What's that guy's fucking name?
However,
It's in front
the
of-
other screenplay writer did the entire Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2014
Oh shit!
and did the Specialist from 1994, some Iron Man, some Batman Beyond, some Spawn HBO. So his name's John Shirley. So he assisted in screenplay, which probably scrubbed out Obar's dumb dialogue and just basically, but kept the whole, like, they almost frame for frame some comic stuff from that book.
A little bit, yeah. And I didn't read the comic enough to really judge that, but I looked at some of the action scenes and I saw like influence. Maybe I'm wrong. The John Shirley. Okay, so here's how I have it. I have it that John Shirley did the script, and then it was punched up by a guy named David J. Shao, who was a different kind of. Well, you know that dude?
I don't know. That name sounds familiar.
Well, he's the Critters 3-4 guy that James is talking about. And he also did some episodes of he's a big Outer Limits fan apparently. And but John Shirley, he's got a huge career and even like early cyberpunky kind of novels. Huge and just like the dude's always fucking writing, and like he looks like a guy who has some chops. And I think the movie, I don't know what fucking David Shao brought to the table. With his Critters 3 or whatever, like maybe
Creepshow. He's a working like horror author. He just churns out novels and stuff.
Yeah, well, I guess they're kind of both hacks, but I just feel that Shirley's a little more of a good hack. With your because he won a daytime Emmy or some shit for animation for the Ninja Turtles. So that's I know that sounds stupid, but
quick update for you.
Oh, please.
In 1978, Obar enlisted in the Marines, and while stationed in Germany, he illustrated combat manuals for the military.
Holy shit!
Yeah, but also, so go ahead.
I was going to say Will Eisner, and that's neat. Okay. Not to compare him to Eisner.
In addition to being influenced by his personal tragedy, he was further inspired by a Detroit newspaper account of the murder of a young couple over a $20 engagement ring. So there you go.
Oh, wow. See, that's okay. I like about this movie that it's Gotham times 10. Like it opens up. It's like everything's fucking burning. Imagine this actually happened. Imagine I don't think Detroit's actually that bad. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's like Gotham without Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's rough as fuck, and it's like everything's like normalized. Like basically the roving gangs are outclassing the police. I guess it's almost like the RoboCop Detroit.
Exactly. Yeah.
And your one good cop has been demoted, Albrecht. Like he's I guess he was competent, so they put him on street duty or some shit.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been busted for just.
That's your Gordon.
Nose
work. Yeah, because he's not fucking. He's not taking the pay.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and he is like Gordon, and so there's everything, and the Crow is far more like Daredevil than he is like Batman.
Oh, that's a good point.
So just to place it, so I don't know, anyone who hasn't read this comic, it's basically about it's a revenge story. And where a young gentleman and his beautiful bride are murdered, and he comes back as a sort of vengeful ghost, held suspended between the world of the living and the dead by a mystical crow that doesn't speak; it just flows around and shit like that, and rights the wrongs of his murder, and brings Halloween back to Detroit. And innocence again.
Yeah.
And
I love how efficient the opening of this movie is. Like, boom, city on fire. Boom, you got this murder. Then it's right into it. And it's telling you everything you need to know as it goes. Also funny that the cop, like the kid, like just runs out, and like the cop, they just let her right near this ambulance for this woman who's been shot, and like whatever is being put in, she's dying, and he's like, she's gonna die, and the cop's like, yeah, but it's okay, like it's okay, and you're just like giving this kid, oh, like, do you know this woman? She's not your mom? No, she takes care of me sometimes. Oh, okay, well, come on in.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's an emergency scene. But you're right.
It's like it's got a lot of energy. It moves.
Yeah, that takes 4 minutes, all told, for all of that, and it's absolutely necessary to the story, because you're constantly flashing back. Like before we were talking, I was watching the Fun Boy scene. He shows up with Fun Boy and Darla. And and he's pulling Fun Boy into the fucking, like, Fun Boy's been knocked unconscious, and or he's passed out from having been shot, and he's Draven's dragging him into the washroom, and as he's dragging her, it's those fucking flashbacks to Fun Boy, and like, fuck, they're in my head, I can see them, but I can't quote them, like, fuck. Anyway, but it just keeps going back to that scene, and it always reminds you that this is the tragedy which powers this drama, and it's good.
Yeah, there's an emotional core to it.
I read
got
the director.
A gun in my pocket. Yeah, there we go.
This fucking guy. His scenes are great. The director apparently wanted to film the whole movie in black and white, like to be like the comic book, and then have the flashbacks be high contrast color. And the studio wouldn't let him.
I like what they did with this. I think that's a little too gimmicky, because the flashbacks are all bright red, and that's super effective. They managed to make the distinction effectively.
Actually, while I was finding that, I read another great piece of trivia, if you guys will allow me here. According to Empire magazine, cocaine abuse was rampant on set, with the cameraman shooting whilst high.
Oh my God.
Crew going into toilets to snort in between shots, and people cutting around. One of the crew members recalls hearing the sound of a sneeze on set one day, and Brandon Lee quipped, "Someone just lost $50."
Hilarious.
And he died on set. That's wild.
Probably. I mean,
fucking the prop crew fucked it up. Did you read about how he died? Like, why he died?
I don't think like lazy prop crew, and like the gun cleaning guy wasn't like checking like barrels for debris or cleaning props, and they just used a blank, like an old blank bullet in a it was supposed to be it was a real gun. First of all, I don't think they were supposed to be using those, but it was a real gun with just blanks in it, and it had some shrapnel in it, so it was just propelled. The shrapnel and debris in the barrel was just propelled by the crap and the from the blank, and then it just unluckily went between his ribs and nicked his aorta, and they couldn't get him back.
Yeah.
What a fluke. That's so awful.
Yeah, but I didn't know the drug abuse was high, and now that all makes a lot of sense to me. That makes a lot of sense.
You know what especially funny about that is that when you meet Top Dollar, like, they do that ultra condensed scene to show exactly how evil he is, and they fuck that girl to death. Then he's like, he gives a cocaine sniff just to show that he's high, and then his sister's like, oh, I want to harvest her eyes as well. It's just like very condensed again.
Yeah, and then later on, just for good effort, they give him a giant pile of cocaine. They just like, yummy. Like, fuck, I love that guy.
Oh yeah, that guy's great.
He's amazing.
Michael Wincott, man, fucking awesome.
He's so like smarmy, and just like when he's watching Skank try to explain his story, and they're just kind of like smirking at each other. They're just like, they're just so toying with them. So I feel like a little fucking worm on a big fucking hook.
That guy's an unsung hero of this. I looked at him, Angel David. He has no Wikipedia page. This is like the best and only thing this person ever did. And here's to you, Skank, because Yeah, man, that's
Poor Skank.
yeah,
I have a question for you guys.
sure.
That 40-year-old Chris is very concerned about this. That 14-year-old Chris didn't care much. But what would you say that Top Dollar's business model is?
Oh, yeah, I've been wondering about this. I was like,
Oh.
what? How did like he's telling them like we got to start a bunch of fires, make some profit, and I was like, what's the relationship between those two things? Like,
Yeah.
are the firemen paying him?
I would think he's kind of like, well, I think that he's just drug running, probably like cocaine and heroin, and then I think that he kind of like, if this is purely fabricated, by the way.
Sure, of course, yeah.
I think that he's like build like a mystique about him, like a supernatural mystique, using his witch, and so on and so forth, eating eyes, raping corpses, so on and so forth, and then he has this like power of speech, so he's like compelling these like groups of thugs to go out and sort of do his bidding, and then I think he's just like piloting like a big drug ring, and everybody sort of just like has this allure that they're serving like a bit of a higher boss, because of the mystique that he uses.
So it's a destruction sort of thing based on their like drug fueled rampages, which I like.
Well,
but
yeah,
then,
he likes to let them run the town too. Like that's the what do you get? What do you get out of that?
I mean that makes a
mostly
lot of
free
sense.
drugs and the spoils of war, rape and pillage.
Yeah, it's just that the whole plot revolves around him clearing out this apartment. So it's almost like does he make areas so shitty that people don't want to live in them, burn them down, and then like is there some sort of like real estate scam on that too?
Well,
That's actually kind of interesting.
I was thinking about the insurance. I was thinking about real estate. Like why is he burning all this stuff? Like,
but drugs make a lot. I mean, obviously he's got so much cocaine. Like he's obviously a drug runner too. He just owns the town, I guess.
Yeah, there's heroin and stuff like that. But I'm just thinking like, good business is where you find it. If I know anything about Detroit, and how you be a corrupt piece of shit in Detroit, I would love a RoboCop Crow crossover.
Holy shit, that would be fantastic.
And like, yeah, I just
that's odd.
Got to talk James O'Barr into that.
Detroit's such a beautiful like setting, especially in like the 80s and 90s. Like,
yeah,
so many good things come out of that.
No, it's like
get me going on RoboCop.
Yeah, so it's got to be something like that, because like he's not. It's just him and a giant black guy, like from like that dude out of The Wire.
Yeah, he's like a Stringer Bell. I thought that too.
Yeah, and I was like, that's weird, and he doesn't otherwise. It appeared like, why are T-Bird and his boys like the best fucking gang guys? Like they don't shoot guns or rob banks. They just like blow up buildings, and so like somehow his economic model is tied directly to their mayhem, and it's got to be real estate and insurance. Like it's got to be some sort of fucking fuck scam at some level. Yeah, I thought about it a little bit. I didn't, and then after a while, I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense, and I'm going to stop thinking about that.
Ultimately, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No. Ultimately, if you're talking about fetal distress, I think we might be overthinking the T-Birds, or Top Dollar's business model.
So I flipped through the comic or whatever, and like I don't get the impression that I think Top Dollar as like this high level gangster is something created by this movie. Like I think he was just like, I think he's just a gang fucker in the original comic. I think he's just like, he's essentially T-Bird.
Yeah, I read that they built him up specifically for the movie.
Oh, I mean, like, let's face it, that actor ran away with that. Most of the actors,
so
everybody did. Everybody,
every actor that came out here fucking ran away with their role, man.
Yeah,
like took it to a level where it just was like above their pay grade.
Yeah. I was so pleased that like when you guys pointed out that T-Bird is Luther from The Warriors, like it just made the movie even better for me.
Oh yeah, ye old David Patrick Kelly. Yeah, one of my boys went and got himself perished. He's fuck. And he's perfect for delivering the lines. He'd like they would be so shitty. Imagine anyone else like quoting Milton.
Yeah.
And and delivering it with such like sympathy and
relish and just
and just like mythical resonance and just like wow, like it's stuff like that makes this movie
Yeah.
work.
And he's like, oh yeah, like when he's in the car, like I know you, I knew you, and just
Yeah.
like the sort of like insane monologue that he goes on, it's perfect.
Yeah, this is just business, right? Yeah, he's trying to talk him down through the whole thing. We can make a deal.
Yeah. This movie is so good because like all of the villains are like they have this personality and they're all distinct, and it's almost like a Metal Gear like sort of like crew, like where everybody you have to deal with each of these guys separately. He gets his is it Tintin, the first guy he kills? Like he gets his he gets the jacket from him. It's like a little quest thing.
Oh, you're right. I forgot he got the jacket from him. Shit. Yeah. And actually, he's not as strong when he fights Tintin. Like, he gets the shit kicked out of him at first. And then, like, I just got the impression that he was strengthening as he went. And I never thought about video game, but I just thought it was convenient for the plot, right? And I guess they're like potato on that one. Yeah. I just watched Gideon get stabbed through the throat. Don't you ever fucking die.
Oh.
That's awesome.
Is that gasoline I smell?
Yeah, John Polito, man.
Yeah. He one element of this like he terrorizes these guys, and I think that's why they have to be like super like ridiculously stark evil for that, because he's like he's awful. He's a real spirit of vengeance.
Yeah, he's sort of Batman. He's Batman that kills. He's Batman / Punisher. Like he's Spawn exists by now. Like
Ghost Rider.
Well, Ghost Rider. Yeah, I guess Ghost Rider. Yeah, certainly. But when is it being created? 89. So it's pre-Spawn, but it's definitely Ghost Rider plus Punisher, plus Batman.
Plus Daredevil.
Plus Daredevil. It comes out of, it's all that stuff that gave birth to Spawn before Spawn showed up. And I think that's also part of its longevity. I think like these two works managed to like most capitalize, I think, on the grim and gritty superhero trend of the 90s.
Well, this is a hard R too. I mean, like, do you guys think that the Brandon Lee's death played into the mystique, like that had to contribute to some of the sales and stuff?
I think that's true.
But is that why we watched it when we were kids?
No.
No, you wouldn't have known that because it was in the 90s. That information wasn't. I don't think it was super public at that time.
I feel that I learned about it after I had seen it. And
definitely
then,
true.
But I watched it like a billion. Like I know this movie. I know every line of this movie. I've seen it so many times. Like in my youth, for some people it's like I watched Scarface 5,000 times. It's like I watched this movie 5,000 times.
And RoboCop.
And RoboCop. Yeah. It's funny though. I don't put this in my favorite movie list.
Really?
I
think this is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I'd say so too.
I'm thinking I'm gonna have to I think maybe there's a blindness there, but
I think it doesn't. It's not. It doesn't get any worse. Every time I watch it, it's like a magic experience again.
I totally agree with that.
It is my favorite superhero movie. I think that's easy to say. Like that's
interesting.
I think that's easy to say. Like what? I'm asking the question to myself, but like what? I don't think there's anything. I'd watch this about like how do I judge that? I just have to ask myself like two things side by side. What am I going to watch? Am I going to watch The Crow or am I going to watch 1989 Batman? I'm going to watch The Crow. Am I going to watch Dark Knight? I guess I'm just going to use Batman movies. I'll probably watch this. I don't know.
The Snyder cut,
I'll watch this over the Snyder cut.
You watched this 3 times.
Sure. Yeah.
I seriously probably would rather do that.
Yeah.
This I think it's an interesting. I mean, I have a hard time thinking of it as a superhero movie, but obviously it is.
Yeah, he's a Green Lantern for fuck's sakes. Like his powers come from the Crow. Like he's actually he's a franchise ready to go.
Yeah.
Because like all this is just happens to be one story about Eric Draven and his murder and how he got revenge, and it could just as easily be like a TV series. Who will like Quantum Leap or some shit like that.
Yeah, you could use the fucking generic Crow to transfer the powers to your next story.
And I think there's a whole franchise. I think there's like 4 of these fucking movies. I remember I saw
There's
the
a
second one as
TV
a kid.
show.
Oh, okay, well there we go.
But it's I mean I think that they said that it always has production problems, like the franchise has a curse.
Probably just cocaine.
Yeah, I'll tell you what your curse is, guys.
Oh,
Too much nose candy.
Too much snow. Just flowing.
Yeah. Guys just need to fucking control yourselves. But I mean, there's something about the Crow that makes you want to just, top
Just
dollar.
fucking rip gaggers.
Yeah.
You know, it's a really smart thing that this movie does. It knows that Brandon Lee looks cool as fuck. It knows that it's got this look, it's got the darkness. So the script is so light and jokey, like in so many ways. It works so well because it doesn't. The angst is just baked in. But as he goes, this is the first time I realized this, but the makeup is a choice. Like it's a Harlequin mask. Like he's taking on this sort of like jokey identity that's I guess telling a truth as he kills or whatever. But
it's the opposite of like there's it's the distinction. I know, honestly I don't know. Like it's the Heraclitus. Is it supposed to be like there's those 2 masks, the happy and the face mask, the happy and the sad face masks. They have like philosophers attached to them. I don't know. I can't remember which one's which at this point though. So, but yeah, it is a choice. Like he's choosing something like theatrical and dramatic, and obviously tragic. Like he's going to be the sad clown. In this production. I'm looking up the Heraclitus face mask thing.
Yeah, well, he delivers a lot of the stuff with camp. But then I found, like, Brandon Lee was so new to acting, too, at that time. Like, he's just breaking out. And he was going to be, like, a hokey action star, right?
Yeah, and I liked his fucking delivery of... So Fun Boy's got the gun to his hand, or right, and he got me clean, and he does that really, actually, I think it's kind of obnoxious, like where he's panting, pretending to pant, but it still kind of like comes off well. And whoa, as his hand heals. But then afterwards, he does that skit, like, stop me if you've heard this one. Jesus Christ, walks into a bar. He's got 3 nails. And the way he's delivering it, he's got his hands in his pocket and he's doing a special little dance as he tells the story, like a vaudeville. And even the way that he presents it, stop me if you've heard this one. There's some real charm there. He's very charming throughout this. I think as the movie goes, like I think early on he's a little fucking.
Oh, he's very unique, and he really bought into that role. Like I don't know, he just wanted to deliver it. And they were working in like shit conditions with a shit budget and apparently a cocaine-addled crew, which I did not know about until today.
Yeah, there's real potential there for sure.
Yeah, for fucking
real potential for maybe we should
accident.
treat ourselves to his other movie,
Rapid Fire with Dolph Lundgren.
Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Anytime. I'll
with Dolph?
Oh,
you're ready to go back to Showdown in Little Tokyo right now.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, but if you want to schedule that.
Oh, yeah. It is good.
X-tinction Agenda special.
I've actually never seen it either.
What?
We might want to. Yeah, no, not at all. If we want to explore like the past life of Brandon Lee, I think that's a funny thing to do.
Yeah. You want to see fucking Big Dolph like kick a bunch of Yakuza guys through a fucking wall and just watch the most racist movie of all time?
Isn't that man. That's called Punisher, though, isn't it? It's
it's basically Punisher with Brandon Lee added as a shitty beat cop Robin partner.
Oh fuck, that sounds great.
It is great.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So anyway, about the Crow. Yeah. I don't know. This is a fucking great movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
Hold on, I wanted to bring up the So the question that we have to ask ourselves is this a
Oh,
fridging movie?
Oh yeah, I think it's okay. I'm going to say I'll take the obvious argument, which is yes, this is a fridging movie. Like there's a brutalized trauma of a beloved individual in order to motivate the hero or progress the plot. And the only I don't know, I guess like Brandon, Eric Draven is also killed, so maybe it's a loophole on this one, but
Is that going to be the back door on this? Huh?
It kind of is a loophole.
Okay, all right.
Oh, maybe.
What do you think, James? Yeah.
I think it's the like I think it's a fucking OG fridging. Yeah.
The prototype.
Yeah.
The prototype fridge, man. Like Shelley is so fucking hollow in this story. She's just she's basically like a wedding photograph. She literally is.
Yeah, you're right.
She's just like a perfect babe. She that dances around your loft with you, and then brings home your groceries with you, and then lay me down on the bed, Eric. And then he's just like this band guy that gets to just do whatever he wants and have the best girl. And then she's just like raped and murdered by Fun Boy. I'm gonna give it to you. That's fucking horrific. And then she just like dies in a trauma. And then
after 30 hours.
The best is Ernie. Love Ernie. Underrated. He puts on this fucking role as a cop. So he's going through the apartment right in the fucking onset of the movie, and he's sort of like he's piecing together their beautiful life together. That's basically like just sort of like snippets, and then she's just like literally dying on an oxygen mask on the floor after a brutal trauma and rape, a head trauma, whatever. And then she's just gonna die like a grotesque long death on the way to the hospital or whatever, I guess. And then he's gonna come back like all brooding with like pure revenge superpowers. That's a fridge, man. It's a hard fridge.
Yeah, and all even her brutalized pain and trauma is what allows the hero to overcome the villain. Like literally, you can't make this stuff up. And he's like, and he even thanks Officer Albrecht for, thanks for watching her for 30 hours as she tried to cling to life. It saved me, like. So
I am still excited to hear the Chris maneuver here.
Yeah.
That's coming.
All right. Well, all that's hard to argue against, but okay. So I guess like there's no question. It's obviously it's like it walks like a duck, talks like a duck. There's a fridging there. But I guess my question is a fridging
That's a t-shirt. That's a t-shirt. Go on.
Is a fridging if there's no toxic masculinity? And I guess the question is it like a toxic masculine story? But I don't think it is.
Oh, that's interesting. That's funny. That sounds like special pleading to me, but I'll hear it.
I even went and looked at the original, the original idea.
Yeah.
It's Gail Simone, right?
Oh yeah, the women in refrigerators.
Yeah. And granted, she's a working comics writer trying to present a case in a career that she wants to continue. So she's probably blunted her criticism a little bit. But she kind of is asking like why, like more to the point, why does this always happen to women in comics? Like why do these stories always exist? And I think that part of that people dig out is that idea that it's meant as a prop so that men can show the appropriate emotion for men, which is rage, and that you can celebrate violence in defense of your property. And I don't think that happens here.
Because I think he starts off extremely angry, and he does cool down at some point. I guess he plays guitar moodily to the moon.
And he also is there to kind of help what's her face, the kid, right? Like
he guides her. He ends up being like a spiritual guide to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he does redeem, like he that's the weird thing about the Crow as a mystical property, and I had alluded to this about he brings Halloween back to the city. Like Devil's Night prevents children from roaming the streets and having fun in their costumes. And
good point.
The final scene is like, I think even the tribute scene is like those kids in their Halloween masks, and he's smiling, and he's like, I brought Halloween back, and he brings a mother and daughter together.
Yeah. By the way,
Yep.
Heroin really easy to kick, or not heroin, but morphine really easy to kick in this movie.
Yeah, well, I think he gave her mystical rehab.
Okay, there you go. That makes sense. I'll buy that. She's got
Yeah.
control powers.
That's
Yeah.
that's how I interpreted that.
Yeah, well then, I guess, and then he also uses his powers to like I don't know, what, redeem motherhood? Weird.
Yes.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
saw that lecture. Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. But not family. Not like, and this isn't like, like a men's rights thing. He's just like, he doesn't go, where are the fathers in this? It's just, it's just though that like that's not what he's interested in.
The dad's a deadbeat. There's no coming back from that.
Yeah.
He's gone. He's out of the picture.
Yeah. No, and even Top Dollar, and I know this is the screenwriter rather than, but he's constantly talking about his father, like in his relationship with his dad and stuff, and like so, the bleak male energy of the villain versus like the maternal energy of the crow. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So there you go. It's like an evolved.
Well, Brandon Lee is like effeminate.
Yeah, he's not.
He's not exactly threatening.
Yeah. Sometimes, actually, what I thought when he fights Tintin, he comes out all like, like I'm thinking about him, like he's even got like he gets punched in the face and he's got that smile and he looks really 80s, 90s grim gritty, but he softens and he just becomes more playful, like a clown through the rest of it.
Yeah, actually, and in fact, like the although you did put it in a convincing way, that's kind of ridiculous. Like he literally has to let go of all those feelings in order to defeat Top Dollar. And then the final lines of the movie are like about like love, when two people love each other or something like that. I forget exactly what he says.
Yeah. Sometimes, just sometimes, something. The
and the crow and the na.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say that there's layers to this movie, but it's definitely
there
doing
kind of
something.
Are. Yeah.
Yeah, like it is trying to do something, and in the form of a really goth Green Lantern story, and that's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, I think that's
less layers than RoboCop, though.
Yeah, that's fair.
Did we ever do RoboCop proper?
No, not yet. I think that's. I kind of like, for me, there's something. Yeah, I hear. Sorry, disappointment, guys. I just because we can do those things anytime we want.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
And like we still haven't done Dark Knight Returns. We haven't done Watchmen. Like where. Yeah. How many classics can we do before we run out of classics? So. It's always kind of fun to find the things in between those big touchstones.
Yeah, we've definitely found over 100 things in between.
Yeah, easily. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I'd love to fucking do RoboCop, but we'll let's wrap up here with the Crow first before we fucking eat what's on our plate. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have anything more to say about the old Crow. I mean, unless there's anything else left.
No, it does it for me.
Yeah. All right. So I'll go Crow. I'm going to give it. I'm watching that black guy, the enforcer. I don't know his name. He's holding Skank, and Skank's all fucking like bandaged and stuff like that. He's got him by a wrist lock. So, fuck.
Is that when he was going crazy?
No, it's after. No, it's after they're he's Top Dollar's at the front of all those gangs and stuff like that. Anyway, I gotta give this like a. I'm gonna give it like a 9. Yeah, that feels like right, because I can't really think of anything that's wrong with it other than like some of it's embarrassing, and like Top Dollar's embarrassing as a villain. Like you really have to accept the conceit of this movie, which is just like it's the darkest, most goth fucking inferno you can imagine. And then otherwise, like you're good to fucking go. So yeah, 9 wrist locks.
Yep. I'm just checking it out. So they did this with $23 million.
Yeah.
That's
You
low.
see every penny of it though. Like the set looks great. Like maybe doing cocaine all the time is good.
Not
for you.
every penny. I was gonna say there's a few $1,000 for cocaine in there.
Yeah.
Maybe a mil on blow. I'm gonna give it 9.5 lines out of.
Yummy.
Right. That's it.
I'm trying really hard to think of a thing that I could give. I guess like 9. I'll give it like 8.5 grease paints out of 10. That's not a very good one, but whatever. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's what's got.
Accept it.
That's fine. Well, if we're gonna watch The Crow, then we can accept anything. We're open-minded. All right. So I don't know. There you have it. The Crow. Fucking. Sorry, I just saw Skank again. Feel like a little worm on a big fucking hook. Yeah, he's that's amazing. All right. So until next time, little fucking worm on a big fucking hook.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Stop me if you heard this one. Jesus Christ walks into a hotel. Ow. He hands the innkeeper 3 nails and he asks, "Don't you ever fucking die? Can you put me up for the night?" Does that hurt? Oh, God. Look what you've done.